Art Deco Second Wednesday is March 8th. Historic Art Deco Armory Art Center, 1939, William Manley King. The building we're in is an Art Deco building with a flat roof and central verticality where the left matches the right, which we call symmetry. And we have a wonderful new director here, John Suau, and he loves Art Deco and he loves history and preservation. So we're really lucky that he understands the wealth and beauty and the treasure that this building is. And here are our 3 websites. So today we're going to talk about modernism. Art Deco is just a word that they coined in 1968 when they looked back at 1925 to 1939. But it was really the beginning of modernism, and we're going to talk about that today. And so we're Art Deco PB for Palm Beach or peanut butter .org. And we're going to talk about art in the alley. Oh my God, I'm so tired. But I wrote 2 books. They're for sale today, and they're on sale, 2 for $45. Art Deco of the Palm Beaches in black and white. And now that they print in color, murals of the Palm Beaches. And I went to Brooklyn College. And I just gave this lecture to the Brooklyn College Alumni Association at the Boca Raton Fish Market in Boca on February 15th. And of course I tweaked it for us, but it was such a thrill for me because they only have amazing speakers. So what is Art Deco anyway? I don't know. I thought I'd just come to this lecture or I know everything. But in 1925, the International Exposition des Arts Décoratifs et Industriels et Modernes, all that, April 28th it started and ended in October in 1925. So 5 years ago, the International Coalition of Art Deco Societies proclaimed April 28th is World Art Deco Day. I like that. Last year, I had a big show. Some of you came to it in Lake Worth. It's called Trilogy, Art, Architecture, and Community, because that is my passion. And the mayor, Betty Resch of Lake Worth Beach, proclaimed World Art Deco Day in Lake Worth. So we're really getting the word out there, but World Art Deco Day, WADD, WAD, April 28th. So this World Congress that we talked about last month is coming to Florida. It started in 1991. Barbara Bayer Capitman she discovered that these hotels in Miami Beach along Ocean Drive were Art Deco. Then she traveled around the United States and found these other geometric buildings that reflect speed and masculinity. And she said, gee, why don't we start inviting people all over the world and have a conference called the World Congress? I was at that first one. I was a member of the Art Deco Society in New York. I moved to Florida December 1st, 1985. And people said, go meet this lady, Barbara Capitman. She's the queen of Art Deco. Well, in New York, I was the Art Deco lady. So I went and met the queen. And they said, well, if you were her daughter, you'd be the Duchess. So now they call me the Duchess of Deco. And I can think of worse things to be called. Anyway, so right here in 1991, we started this World Congress. They came from Australia and California and Ohio and Detroit and New York and Chicago. And I met people from all over the world in 1991. Then they went to Australia. I didn't go. I bought a house. They went to London and Los Angeles and Napier and Tulsa, Cape Town, New York, which I did go to, Melbourne, Montreal. I was supposed to speak, but I had a family problem. Rio de Janeiro. I did go to Cuba. Shanghai, I'm gluten-free. Can't go to China. Cleveland, Ohio. No, I was supposed to go. I was all paid. But then I got asked to speak in Perpignan and be the keynote speaker of the Perpignan Art Deco Festival and also go to Paris. So it was like, Cleveland, Paris. I went to Paris. They went to Singapore, was canceled because of COVID, and here we are back. One of the problems, though, It is very expensive to go to a World Congress from Australia because it's all these Australians, and to fly over and stay 2 weeks in a hotel and pay for the Congress. So now they're going, Florida, which we've been to, or Paris, same problem again. In any case, a Congress has 3 parts. The main Congress, where they have lectures from all over the world, experts on Art Deco. I'll be at a panel on Saturday talking about how to start an Art Deco society and sustain it. And there's a pre-conference in Orlando where they're going to go to Bach Tower, which I've also been to, and I'm too busy planning the post-Congress. April 28th, 29th, 30th. And what's happening? April 28th is World Art Deco Day. I get World Art Deco Day. That's amazing because they changed the dates 5 times. And then I wound up with World Art Deco Day. April 29th, the day after, Barbara Capitman's 103rd birthday, if she was alive. She died at age 69, 30 years ago. But wow, I get the 2 best days. So World Art Deco Day and Barbara Capitman's birthday would be 103. Okay, so if anybody wants information, what happened? You'd go to the website and sign up. 16th World Congress on artdeco.com. It says it on your flyer. And the theme is Modernism, Florida's Hidden Treasures. So I talked about what is Art Nouveau, and I just throw that in because we're going to learn so much today, we might as well just touch on that. Art Nouveau is before Art Deco. It's 1890s. It's Toulouse-Lautrec and the can-can girls with the frilly crinolines, and it's feminine and flowery, and the place where they had the Toulouse-Lautrec was called the Cat, El Gato. You'll see all these posters. So it was a celebration of flowers and organic things growing. As you see things here in the Sagrada Familia, they're growing. When we see Art Nouveau, we see voluptuous, sexy women with long hair, flowers in their hair, the Job cigarette papers. We see the peacock, the birds. When we see Art Deco people, Art Deco design, we see stylized, elongated, simplified, right? Women cut their hair, they bob their hair in the Jazz age. We see the straight line. We see masculine women. We see geometry. So they're opposites. Art Nouveau, feminine, flowery, curvy. Art Deco, masculine, elongated, geometric, speed. Everything's about speed, and everything is about the line. And we've talked about this before, but as a result of the Industrial Revolution and the machine age, we have machines. And then we can never go back. Machines are here to stay. So they tried copying all these curly, wavy, complicated designs. Didn't come out good. Handmade was better. Handmade is old world craftsmanship. Who wanted to buy something machine made? I didn't want to buy machine made. So they looked back into art history. Japanese, Mayan, Aztec, Egyptian. 1922, King Tatsum is discovered. Everything becomes Egyptian design. And the machines did great. And that's how we developed modern life, industrial modern life that we call modernism. Just happened to call that one period Art Deco. So it's modern life. There's Howard Carter, 1922. And I went to Egypt, not on an Art Deco World Congress, but it was like my bucket list, a nice Jewish girl going to Egypt. I was the only Jew there, but I had to go, and I'm so glad I did. There I am. When I was 14, I painted my first mural. I didn't know, I was 14, 1968, right? That's the hippies. I came home, and I put some masking tape on the wall. Look at the olive green, right? Olive green shag carpet. I was a sculptor in college, of my sculptures, but I didn't know what this was. I mean, I knew what it was, but I didn't really know it was Art Deco. That's just what was in me, what I loved. My sister got married, and she wanted a mural. Trains. But see here, I rounded the lines. How did I do that with masking tape? Yeah. Masking tape is straight. Streamline is curved for speed. So what happened was I painted the whole wall black, took my masking tape, and I just put a lot of masking tape, and then I hand cut each curve. And then I painted it, and when I pulled off the tape, I had these beautiful, we call it graphic, very graphic, tight, perfect, flat mural. When I got my own apartment, I loved New York. I was Miss New York, right? And here we have the skyline and the rainbow, before rainbows were popular. And down there we see the World Trade Center. Because architecturally, no one thought they were great, right? But the Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, Art Deco gems. So how can we have Art Deco in Florida and the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building be Art Deco? Well, those were 1925, and they were very decorated, very ornamented. Time the design and modernism came to Florida, which our oldest buildings are really from the 30s and 40s. We didn't even have any buildings from the 20s. And everything, of course, we know is that Spanish Meisner style. But we wound up with these streamlined buildings in the 30s and 40s, way into the 40s. Okay, so when I was in New York, I was a member of the Art Deco Society. Here's the Chrysler Building with the eagle, right? Eagle's masculine, not a little peacock, right? And we see 1, 2, 3. Everything in Art Deco is in groups of threes. You'll see 3 windows, 3 stripes, 3 levels. So remember, Art Deco is 3s, maybe because of the pyramid. I don't think I need this. Let me put that down. And this was a poster by Dennis Abbey, who was the president when I was a member. And in this program is my name. I helped design this. I was a volunteer. And here we see how it steps up? That's called stepping up, stepping down. It also steps back. That's Art Deco. So we'll see all that here, where it steps up and steps down. And this is just like futurism, like like a spaceship, like Buck Rogers. So when I left New York, my beloved New York, I painted a painting of my mural, right? Because I wouldn't have my apartment anymore. So I painted this, and in a painting you put a lot more elements than a mural. A mural is big and simple. A painting you could put more detail. Move to Florida, paint purple palm trees. You do not paint palm trees when you live in New York. But when you come to Florida, you'll learn how to do that. And of course, I started putting these little geometric designs. And actually, that was from Martin the Alley. And I just realized that I opened up this lecture, and my other lecture that I probably didn't open had some pictures from this weekend, Art in the Alley. Oh well, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, here's Barbara Capitman, the queen of Art Deco. And it's maybe 1989 in this picture. And there's her with the books. And the mayor gave me an award for starting the Art Deco Society of the Palm Beaches. She did that. She said, Sharon Koskoff, you're going to start the Art Deco Society. And I was like, what do I know? But she taught me everything from this one photograph in San Francisco. This is San Francisco Maritime Museum. It's by Ghirardelli Square on the water. So we see 1, 2, 3. We see rounded corners for streamline. We see 1, 2, 3, and what's on the left is on the right. We see this looks like a ship, right? Nautical speed, machine age, steamboats changed the world. So this is the picture of this. Oh, there's the 3 porthole windows, right? It's not a coincidence that there's 3s everywhere. It's fact. So I go home and I paint this jazz man design. I was painting a mural at the Royce Hotel in Fort Lauderdale, and they were giving me a big opening, so I wanted a painting with the mural, and I made it my first article in the Palm Beach Post. And then I created this serigraph, which is a print, a limited edition serigraph, which we still have some. And this jazz man just lives on. I just keep painting it over and over again, as you'll see it in some other things. So we're having the World Congress come to see all the Art Deco in the Palm Beaches. But it's only coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's going to be an energy-packed, if you look at that itinerary, how are you going to do that? It's going to be jump off the bus, take pictures, jump back on the bus. Jump off the bus, take pictures. You live here anytime. You can go anytime, right? So it's very exciting. So here we have the Norton Museum of Art. In Miami, we have a hotel and the Jewish Museum where the lectures will be, and Bach Tower and Central Tower. And Tim and Janet Trapani have signed up for the Miami Congress. And what hotel are you staying at? You have that? Which hotel?
I don't remember.
Oh, but you are staying at a hotel. You're not going to drive back and forth. How exciting. This is the ICAD's logo, International Coalition of Art Deco Societies. So there are about 30 societies. New York right now is the president, and I'm the secretary. For the past year, I've been the secretary. We Zoom, so we meet with Australia, Mumbai, India, Paris, Miami, me, and Palm Beaches, Washington, Virginia, and New York. 8 of us are on the board of the International Coalition of Art Deco Societies. And they accept the bids for the World Congress, which we bid 2 years ago when I was in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I haven't seen a lot of you in 3 years. We have literally, COVID has just shut us down, and it's so sad. What? So the Congress was going to start at WMODA. Some of you came on the bus trip. Wiener Museum of Decorative Arts. The bus is gonna come up from Miami, and they're gonna pass Dania. And of course, how could you not go to this wonderful museum of decorative arts? Well, they moved, and they won't be open.
Right.
They're not open now. They're moving. They have a new location. It's been announced, Hollywood, right off I-95, but they won't be open. So I had to do something for the beginning of the World Congress. And I went to the Boca Raton Historical Society, and I met with Sue Gillis, who's the curator. And she said, why don't you go over to Lynn University? They want some promotion, and they have some interesting architecture with Howard McCall, the architect. So I even called Howard McCall's son, Buzz, who's still alive, because it was built in 1962. This is called Mid-Century Modern. And he says, I don't remember my father doing Lynn University. So we discovered that architects named Chapman, Evans, and Delahanty built Lynn University, the original buildings. This is a newer building. But just imagine, the bus is going to come from Miami, an international tour, and all these international flags. What a welcome. I was like, win, 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 win. So this New York architectural firm built these 4 buildings in Lynn University. And who are they? My alma mater, Brooklyn College. Unbelievable. And the people at the lunch were like, oh my God, how exciting is that? I get chills. I keep getting chills. I have chills right now. I just can't take it. New discovery. Now this is mid-century modern. So why should I care about mid-century modern? I'm here for an Art Deco lecture. Because architecture in Boca Raton, for years I'm saying, there's no Art Deco in Boca, it's Misertown, there's no Art Deco in Boca. But they do have interesting architecture. They have mid-century modern. And mid-century modern is a new thing to follow. In the 80s, everybody, Art Deco, and everybody designed Art Deco. But now, time is passing, and now people are looking towards mid-century modern as significant and important and historic, because this building in 1962 is more than 50 years old, and we consider buildings historic past 50 years. So I've been there, well, not to Brooklyn College. These are Brooklyn College pictures. Very exciting. I was an art major, and I lived in Brooklyn College. You have 3-hour classes, but I would go 5 days a week, morning to night, and I was a sculptor and a photographer, even though I specialize now in color theory. So I met with Cesar Santolo of Lynn University, and here we see the mid-century modern, which is a photographer's delight of geometry and shadows. So we call this a concrete curtain. It's all over A1A. It's all over downtown Lake Worth. It's everywhere. It's called Brise Soleil. There it is. Brise Soleil. It means broken sun, or it's to protect the sun in the heat of Florida. They also call mid-century modern MIMO. M-I for mid, and M-O for modern. Mid-modern. In Miami, they'll say it's called Miami Modern. Whatever it is called MIMO. MIMO, I'm not even sure how we should pronounce it. I've heard MIMO, M-I-M-O, Mid-Century Modern or Miami Modern. There's all these incredible buildings like the Deauville Hotel that Jack showed us last week that are significant and fabulous. Now there's no sun here, but let's see. Look, so I go around with Caesar and I show him, oh, look at this, look, things he had no idea. If you go to the Lynn University timeline, it's all about, well, in 1962, it was a women's college, and then it became a four-year college. Then they let in men. Then it became graduate. I mean, they don't talk about the architecture, which is amazing. Look at this. Ooh, ceiling. So now, the residences, because, you know, the kids live there, the adults, so it's Art Deco. The glass block is an Art Deco element, the flat roof, the 3 levels. So they have Art Deco on the campus, but this is my favorite picture. You know, if you like architecture and you like photography, then abstract photography, not just, oh, here's the building, you know, that's what design is about. And I'm so excited. So, we start off our itinerary, but I want to do a tour for the locals. So if you're interested, I already have 5 people signed up, March 31st, Friday, because it's going to be Friday, April 28th. I want the same exact tour that's going to be for the World Congress. If anyone wants, it's $18 before March 20th. You can sign up for the walking tour, but it just doesn't end there. Let's keep going. Okay, so here's more. It's just fabulous. I am only giving you a taste. This is called the ASEF building. Look at that. I mean, it's just extraordinary architecture by Chapman, Evans, and Delahanty. In the library, you'll look up, and this is the ceiling. I mean, just everywhere is a geometric. So mid-century modern is not a revolt against Art Nouveau, Art Deco, right? Art Deco was a revolt. It's the opposite of Art Nouveau. But mid-century modern takes the Art Deco and moves it forward. It's not so worried about symmetry. It's more worried about design and what they could do with the reinforced concrete and the technology of the time. So people came home from the war. The men came home from the war, and they started families, right? The 50s, the modern woman, you know, let's see, TV dinners, Tang, all that stuff, right? And the design became very futuristic. We have the Russian space, we have the Sputnik design that you see everywhere. Think of mid-century modern. We've all been through that. And you start to see that mid-century modern just takes Art Deco further, the design. Not a revolt. Also on the campus, if you recall the earthquake in Haiti, 2 professors and 4 students were on an educational tour, and they died in the earthquake. And this $1 million beautiful campus, memorial is there. It's very moving. Okay, so what do I write here? Oh, so another reason that Lynn is famous, because they had a presidential debate there with Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney. And then they just built in 2015, there's also the sanctuary where the students could go in and meditate and have alone time, but they do yoga classes in there, or they have a piano for poetry. It's this beautiful meditative space for the students. So the whole place is just beautiful. So of all things, I just went to the opening at the Boca Raton Historical Society, the museum is called the Schmidt Boca Raton History Museum. And I put in one of my Art Deco green mid-century TV planters. It's called a TV lamp, is at that exhibit. Okay. But right around the corner, before this, I had discovered this. Unbelievable. All this time, I'm in Florida, 37 years, and I never knew that the IBM building was built by Bauhaus architect Marcel Breuer.
Yeah.
How did I never know that? It's unbelievable. Now, who is Marcel Breuer? He designed the cane-back chair, that tubular chair. Everybody has one of those in the house, or had one. It's called the Cheska chair. And 1970, that's 50 years old. It's a historic building. And he worked with Robert Gatchie. I have the book. And they just put this sculpture in front of it, this mid-century modern, so it really goes with the article. But this kind of architecture is not called mid-century. It's 1970. This particular architecture is known as brutalism. Look at this floor plan. This place is huge. It's a city. It goes from Yamato all the way to Spanish River, which is its own exit on I-95. And here, if you were to go along here, is the world's Western Hemisphere's largest hallway. Bill Gates didn't sell, he negotiated his software to IBM. IBM built the first personal computer right here in Florida. So many historic events happened, which also makes a building historic, meaning George Washington slept here, not just the architecture or the architect, but an event that happens in a building makes it historic. Those are the three things that make a building historic. So this place is just unbelievable. I've been there 8 times. I brought Linda Stabile, and she goes, "No wonder you've been so excited." I mean, so after the walking tour at Lynn University, we get back in the car, we carpool, just around the corner in Yamato, a few blocks away. We're gonna go here and have lunch. And where is that lunch? Well, it's right in here. Look at this building. It's called brutalism. Brutalism is where they pour heavy concrete. It's heavy. And they're dealing just with the concrete. And if you look close at the concrete, you can see the wooden forms. You can see the wood grain of the mold. And I could take a million pictures. But this recurring theme, and you could drive around and see things. Just look at it on a sunny day, all the shadows. So you see triangles. We know that comes from Art Deco, right? Chevron and triangles. We just talked about everything is threes. You see the history. So this is Marcel. This is his book. This is the cafe. The cafe is the Marcel Brewery. Oh my God. So we're having lunch there, the lunchbox on the tour, on both times. March 31st, we'll be at Lynn University walking tour, then we'll drive over, we'll have lunch there and see this. And who's doing this? Boca Raton Museum is in there, they have a display. Lynn has the first NFT museum in there. It's an art gallery and women in the visual arts.
Exhibit right now, and when you go March 31st down the hallway, you'll be seeing all the artwork.
Excellent. So they have all these art shows because the hallways are like really, really far. I went there after my hip surgery, and I went with the walker, and I was like walking and walking. They're building a food court in there the size of a football field. It's all so. What's the name of the one of the developers in Boca is really just building that all to the most avant-garde, futuristic companies, or their headquarters are in there. Now, when I moved here, everyone I knew worked for IBM, but you couldn't get on site. It was like FBI. It was top secret. Unbelievable that now it's open, the architecture and the beauty and celebration of art in there. And as Ann says, women in the visual arts, all the people are having art in there. There's your cane-back chairs. His daughter did the interior design of the cafe, but we'll be eating outside on the lake. So this is the inner circle, and just lunchbox. Buy your own lunch, but it would be so great if you came on the tour, because you can't get into Lynn University. You could go to Brick now anytime, Boca Raton Innovative Campus, but you can't get into Lynn without security. Okay, here's the Lynn University. Now we're in, look at these hallways. They have art in there from Lynn University has the first NFT. We talked about that tangible, non-fungible art. So from there, all right, so now we're on our itinerary. From there, we're going to Linda Stabile's Art Deco residence in Delray Beach. By mistake, there's a typo. It says Boynton Beach, but it's Delray Beach. And I designed the colors, the Egyptian colors of the turquoises and orange. And so we see here what's called eyebrows. Eyebrows are the flat linear plane that protect you from the sun. So brise soleil protects you from the sun vertically. Eyebrows are horizontal. I just made that up. But it's true. You know, the more I see, the more I can explain it, and the more I can understand what's going on here. And it just became so obvious. Okay. Linda Stabile's home, 3 porthole windows, we know that. Now this was built in 1948, the Wenger residence, by Ruth and Ray Wenger. But it doesn't matter, you know, it probably took them a long time to build. Okay, so everyone goes to the hotels. It's gonna be the Colony Hotel, the Aloft Hotel, where we have Art in the Alley on the back of that wall, and the Hyatt. They'll go to the hotel, they'll check in from 3 to 4, they'll get dressed, and then we get it back on the bus, and we go to Norton Museum Art After Dark. Now, I've been working on this for 2 years. They could have had Venetian art. Who knows what the display could be? Modernism! How did I do that? At the dawn of a new age, early 20th century American modernism came straight from the Whitney Museum in New York. And who designed the Whitney Museum? Marcel Breuer. Can you believe that? It's just like all these connections. It's just every day I would uncover and uncover. So this is not, doesn't look like a typical George O'Keeffe, but these are 2 pictures I got off the internet because it doesn't open till next Friday, which is also St. Patrick's Day at the Norton, but it will be there for a very long time. So what we're gonna do though, we're gonna open up 2 events to the public. I don't have the pricing yet, as fundraisers, as galas, because we go to the Norton Museum of Art, and we see the Diana and the Action. We see the 1, 2, 3, the flat roof. This is the Olive Avenue entrance. And we'll have champagne. And there they are from my book. So here we'll see fluted ribbing. We'll see the little 1, 2, 3, the little stepping back. It almost looks like a pyramid. We see fluted ribbing here. And we see this masculine woman shooting Action. And why did she shoot him? They were lovers. He saw her naked, so she had to kill him. So she shoots him with an arrow, and the arrow turns him into a stag. And then his own wolves eat him to death. So Paul Manship depicts him turning into the stag with her shooting. Okay, you probably didn't know that. Anyway, Paul Manship is the artist of the Prometheus Fountain in Rockefeller Center that you see every day on the Today Show at 9 o'clock in the morning, that you see in every Hallmark movie when they're ice skating for Christmas. Paul Manship, those 2 sculptures at the Norton are the Art Deco artist Paul Manship. Okay, so we're going to get on the bus and we're going to be all dressed up in Egyptian costumes because this year's theme of World Art Deco Day will be Egyptomania. And when I also wrote my book, though, I also discovered that Paul Manship did these 3 reliefs. I didn't even know that. We know the 2 sculptures, but he also did these reliefs of inspiration, imagination, and interpretation.
Where are they?
They're behind those the sculptures and the front and rear front entrance. And here we are in Egyptian gala, so everybody will go back to Del Rey on the bus, and we're having belly dancing, and we're having hookah, and we're having tattoos, and food, And then people will be able to walk 2 blocks back to their hotel or enjoy the nightlife in Delray. So this will be one gala, the World Art Deco Day Gala. I don't have the pricing yet, but we will be inviting the public. So it would be, you come to Delray, you get on the bus, you go to the Norton, you come back, you do the belly dancing, and dressed up in Egyptian. That one's me. Okay. That one's Ron. Ron? There you are. Our videographer. And there's a belly dancer. That's her. That's cheeky belly dancing. Okay. So then we go to sleep and we wake up in the morning and then we have another full day. Okay. Lake Worth Beach Mayor Betty Resch. We'll have a little mayor's reception at the Lake Worth Playhouse with its Art Deco logo, right? We see circles, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is what it looked like when it was originally built in 1924. It was the oldest building on the Art Deco of the Art Deco Society of the Palm Beaches Historic Registry. And it doesn't look so Art Deco, but it's what we call Moorish Deco. Has that Moorish influence. But you see the 1, 2, 3, and you see the up and down, and you see the geometry. Well, the hurricane September 16th, 1928 came and flattened it. So now we see flat roof and the racing stripes. We see the Art Deco lettering in the marquee. Well, they came to me and said, our marquee is falling apart. We need a new marquee. And I designed that. And I said, you're getting neon. Neon? We can't have neon. I said, oh yeah, you're having neon. It's the gateway to the entrance of downtown Delray Beach, Lake Worth Beach. So we highlighted the illumination. So here's like the little history, and here's the opening in 2007. Okay. So when I did Trilogy last year in Lake Worth Beach, Roseanne Macaletti's invited me to see her Art Deco house, the inside. So here's that eyebrow, that flat linear plane. Here's the glass block. Here's the fluted ribbon, flat roof, the balance, the eyebrows on the corner. They have the windows in the corner because the reinforced concrete allowed them to do that. You could never have a window in a corner building before Art Deco. And here's the inside of her home. Her husband was an architect, and he just passed away December, a few weeks ago. And we'll see some of his designs. Well, they took the second floor. It was 4 apartments. 1 below is rented, 1 is for her son, and upstairs they broke through, so 2 apartments became 1. So she has 2 bathrooms, identical, but one's green and one's pink. Deco doorknob, Deco doorknob. So when the Art Deco Publix in Lake Worth was built, they went to the commissioners with a Spanish Mediterranean revival plan, and the commissioners went, Sharon Koskoff's book, Art Deco, says we have the most Art Deco in Lake Worth Beach. We want Art Deco. And here we see all the streamlining, the rounded corners, the glass block, the balance. We see the streamlined cars. And they made this. They just repainted this. Anybody notice it's light blue? I don't know what's up with that because you got this blue, green, and light blue, not so much contrast. But it's okay, it's Publix. They have the neon, the triangles, the stepping back, the little eyebrows in there. And here it is where it's being built. But again, they just painted it light blue. I don't have any pictures yet. So Art Deco is not just a Miami Beach scene, is it? Here's Linda Spiel's house when her friend Rick Ballou had painted it in the primary colors. But here we see the Cultural Council building. We didn't get to that yet. The Lake Worth Playhouse with the old marquee, the Diana. And here we see the Cultural Council building, 601 Lake Avenue. So here we see 1, 2, 3 twice, 1, 2, 3. We see a little stepping down, rounded corner, glass block. This is what it looks like today. It's a free museum, art gallery. You could go in anytime, walk around downtown Lake Worth. They just had the street painting last weekend. Here's a beautiful kind of, I'd rather show you this shot, is more artistic than this one. Okay. You're the first one to see this. Okay, so Cultural Council is going to have an Art Deco exhibit in honor of the tour. And they asked me to do, submit a painting. Well, I have to make a new one, right? It has to be brand new. And I'm teaching mixed media collage. So I made this mixed media collage, and of course there's the jazz man with a paintbrush. And here's the armory, where I took the buildings and photoshopped them and did all kinds of things. And I did warm, cool, warm, cool, warm, cool. I made a checkerboard of warm and cool, and then I cut it with black and white architecture and the three-dimensional jazz man, and there you go. So that will be on display at the Cultural Council from, I think, April 14th to May 20th, something like that. Hasn't been delivered yet. No one has seen it but you. Armory Art Center, here we are. Okay, so let's look. See how it steps up? It steps down. 1, 2, 3, up, down, up. Fluted ribbing. It was originally a 1939 National Guard Armory. There I am organizing the community and literally painting the building. And these were the colors, the green, purple, orange, the secondary colors for many, many, many years. Then they built another sculpture building with a light blue metal roof, so they painted this light blue. But we're talking, because we have a new director, John Suau, talking about color. Look at this room is yellow. He likes color. Can't be afraid of color if you're an artist. But this is the light blue that it was. This is a famous picture from the Palm Beach Post. Okay, so I'm a connector. I want to collaborate with anyone. So I go to Ralph Papa, who spoke here in January, and we said, you run this whole outdoor painting. Let's get all the outdoor artists who paint Art Deco buildings. They'll be on display. There'll be 75 plein air artists on display here. It's a call to artists on cafe, call for entry artists. And we started off at the Norton, but nobody knew what to paint. They're just outside painting. I go, no, we gotta paint Diana and Actaeon. So here I am giving a little lesson of what to paint, and they just started painting. It's fabulous. So and then we'll have lunch at the Armory, a lunchbox from Aioli on Dixie Highway. All right, so it's only 1:30 now on Saturday, April 29th. We're gonna go to the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens. She's a modernist artist. She's a feminist, a woman artist. Who ever heard of such a thing? I'm an artist. I'm a woman. But you can't name 5. All right, so she worked in brick. Whoa, this is huge sculpture. This is her work. I mean, but the building that houses this, her studio building, is on the National Trust for Historic Preservation Registry as a historic landmark. So all of this fits. And now they remodeled the inside of that building, made it more museum friendly. What exhibit will they have? Anybody know what will be on display at the Ann Norton Sculpture Garden during April? No? Okay. Harry Benson photographer, Palm Beach photographer, with the Beatles, with civil rights, with all the things happening in the 60s. So they're gonna highlight Harry Benson. Unbelievable. Even though we're really going there to see everything else, Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens and the historic home, but the display will be Harry Benson, and you'll probably hear all about that, photographer of the 60s. So again, mid-century. Okay. Then we're gonna go over to the island of Palm Beach. This is the Society of Four Arts. This mural is the WPA style, the neoclassical style, like Paul Manship. And we'll be seeing The Two Panthers by Wheeler Williams. And he was an Art Deco sculptor, just like Paul Manship. And we talked about the masculine animals of the Art Deco era. Then we're going to the Paramount. Now no one ever says this is an Art Deco building, but we just learned about the Moorish Deco. See the Moorish temple there? And see how it steps up and the flat roof? And we'll see stylization. But this floor plan, this footprint of the Paramount building is by Joseph Urban, who did Mar-a-Lago and who did all the Art Deco in Rockefeller Center in Miami. Well, Joseph Urban, this floor plan is an Art Deco shape, and it's 1/4 the scale of Radio City Music Hall. And here we'll see other Arabian Deco, like from Cartier from 1924, where they'll do this Arabian that we see in the Lake Worth City Hall and in the Lake Worth Playhouse, this Arabian Deco. Well, inside the Paramount, for years, they've had this amazing display of all the Hollywood and all the films, the movie stars, and how fun is that? So we'll go see that. Then we go, now this will be open for the second gala. If you don't want to go to the Egyptian gala, we're going to be opening this up. We're going to the Preservation Foundation of Palm Beach. Belford Shumate, our most important Art Deco architect. This is the Preservation Foundation at something 311 Peruvian, I think it is. Something 11 Peruvian. So it's behind Worth Avenue. And here we see the sketch of this Art Deco building. He built several Art Deco mansions on the island of Palm Beach, Belford Shumate, as well as 2631 Flagler Drive right here on West Palm Beach facing the Intercoastal. And we're going to have dinner, Italian dinner by Beachy Worth Avenue Restaurant in Pan's Garden, which is this outdoor garden. And we're going to have a wonderful singer and piano player, swing cabaret music. And that will be our second gala dinner, open to the public. Again, I don't have the pricing yet, but it's Saturday night, April 29th, the ending gala of our 2-day extravaganza. But we're not done yet. Wake up Sunday morning, and we're going to have a Deco and Del Rey walking tour. It says right here, Deco Del Rey walking tour. And what I just found out, at Old School Square, the Cornell Art Museum, they're going to have a display of some of my Art Deco paintings and a champagne reception at 11 o'clock in the morning. Then we'll walk through and see the Deco and Del Rey, the art and culture of downtown Del Rey, and buy your own lunch. Probably at Deck 84, we'll be passing Johnny Brown's, which was an Art Deco gas station. Now this is so interesting in Del Rey. This was originally Zuckerman's, which we know already. Porthole windows, fluted ribbing, the geometry, this rounded banding corner, this flat roof. So we know that's Art Deco. That's from my book. But then in the 70s, they just pasted over it and made Mercer Wenzel's department store, which I used to shop in when I first moved to Del Rey. So they just covered over all that interesting stuff. But now, architects made it into Art Deco, but you can't make something Art Deco, right? So I call it Decometric, because it's Art Deco, but it's new. It's not the historic Art Deco. So look what they did. They put the 3 stripes, the porthole windows, the rounded corners in a vertical design. I mean, it's just really, really great. Right there on 4th Avenue and Atlantic Avenue. So that matters, because they built some other Decometric buildings, a pharmacy, and another building that's for rent in downtown. And this is the Boyd Building at 820 East Atlantic, where Deck 84. Deck 84 is where we'll have lunch, and we might walk to the beach as well, but we'll end here at Deck 84 on the Intercoastal, because I'm sure everybody wants to sit and eat at the water. So thank you for coming, and I'll take any questions. So you're invited to the walking tour, March 31st, but if you'd like to come and welcome our international travelers, we're going to have some pricing for the 2 gala dinners. One is the Egyptian, April 28th, and one is the Palm Beach Peruvian on April 29th. Again, I don't have those invitations yet. We have to see how many seats are left on the bus, but one you would drive to yourself and one would start in Del Rey. Yes?
Is this Cornell Museum?
Cornell Art Museum.
In Del Rey, do they have it open right now to that exhibit?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. Is the Cornell Art Museum open? It was called Old School Square, and the city shut it down, but December 28th, it opened up with a surf display, a surf exhibition. And the DDA, the Downtown Development Authority, is running it. Maruska Gatto, a good friend of mine. So she, in fact, on Savor the Avenue, we just had the Art in the Alley. They're going to put some art there in front of the museum. So it's open. They keep changing the hours, so you have to check the website. but the Cornell Art Museum is the name of the building. It is open with displays, and we'll be hosting our champagne reception, Deco and Delray walking tour at 11 a.m. April 30. And I don't have that yet because
Mariska is now
we have
in
time.
charge.
But go to the website, buy a ticket, we take credit cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mariska is now in charge of exhibitions. I believe she's back taking care of the exhibitions there. I know
She's running the whole museum.
yes, he asked women in the visual arts to come back and do this.
Yes, she's hooking up with all of the local,
Yeah, and she wants us
see,
to.
before they had these very expensive exhibits that were great, but it cost $40,000 to ship them back and forth. So why not host area talent that there's plenty of? So that's what she's doing, reconnecting with everyone. But at the same token, Old School Square is trying to regain some ground, and we have the 6x6 show if you're an artist and you want to donate. So I don't want to be in the middle of any of that politics, because I'm just an artist and collaborate with everybody, but that's what's going on politically. You have the Old School Square trying to gain ground, even though they don't occupy the buildings, and you have the city that occupies the buildings trying to regain an audience. But it's really all about politics and the election coming up this week. Think about it, right? Why they open the museum? Well, vote for me, I shut the museum. No, vote for me, I open the museum. See? So, politics. Thank you. We're gonna have a wonderful reception now. I'm just gonna pull off that sheet, and we have chocolate cake and wine and fruit. And we all go to Hallie's. Who wants to go to Hallie's for dinner after? Because I haven't eaten.